Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Outsiders.
I'm Seth Austin.
And I'm Todd Pickering.
And we're a couple of actors stuck on the outside, trying to make our way to the inside of the biz.
Hollywood, baby. We're all stuck on the outside right now.
That is a very good point. Is there an inside? Will there ever be an inside again? What is this inside?
We will know when we know.
Oh, that was a beautifully vague statement. I love it.
No, but I mean all of us together. That's what I wasn't saying.
No,
we will all know together.
I'm a ball breaker this morning. Okay,
Ouch.
so yeah, I kicked him right there.
Be nice to me. Send me an email since Seth's so mean to me. Send it at.
Oh, hey everybody, Todd. I'm being mean to Todd. If you love him, you'll send him an email at theoutsidersbiz@gmail.com. That's theoutsidersbiz@gmail.com.
Wow, now you're being sarcastic and patronizing.
I've had a lot of coffee, Todd. Okay.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, get caffeinated because you got to keep up, brother.
Okay, I know you're. Woo, I gotta keep up. What are we talking about today, Mr. Austin?
Besides my addiction to coffee, so today we are going to discuss another post from a different Facebook group. This one is called "Casting Directors for Actors and Actresses." It is a really great group, in my humble opinion. I found a lot of great information on there. Like anything else, you got to take it all with a grain of salt. You know, whatever information you find on there, ask other people about it. You know, it's not all gold. So with all of these things that we do recommend, always use your own judgment. Always ask other people. Ask an actor that you trust, et cetera, et cetera.
That you know is what you're saying.
What's that?
Like you're saying, ask somebody that you know.
Yeah, if you can, you know, if you have a contact in the industry that you trust, ask that person. You know, ask other casting directors that you know that aren't in the group. Put your own post in a place that's not related to that group. Do your due diligence no matter what, because there is always going to be a lot of misinformation out there.
Another tip from working at Graham Shields Studio, I help run the agent nights, and I listen. That was our last episode. You got to listen.
Got to listen, baby.
I listen to some people asking the same question over and over again and being stressed. There comes a point where your research must end and you must make a decision.
You must dive in with both feet.
Because I see people stressing about the same question over and over and over and over again.
Been there.
And I hear them being told, I wouldn't worry about it. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yet it's not good. They're going to go to every single website. There comes a point you got to compile your information and then make your own decision at some point.
That's a really good point, because you can, I think, despite what I just said, you can over-research. You can just kind of keep talking yourself in these crazy little circles, which I have definitely done in my
We've all done it, and especially in this climate.
Yeah, right now.
Of uncertainty. But I hear people are getting agents.
Yep, it happens.
I have one.
Yeah,
during this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, my friend Drea, she just switched agents and got with a better rep for her. And during a pandemic, you know, and she gave me a few tips that I'll share at some point. But today we're talking about this post from this young actress, Kylie Johnson. Hi, not sure if this is allowed. Just got a call back from a talent agency, and they're looking to move forward in working with me. I've done some research on them, and I've found mixed reviews. Some say I'm being scammed, and others say they've had success stories. I had a Zoom audition the other day with the women who were looking to cast me, and they seemed legit. I got a call back at 4 for another live audition. Now they're talking about finances and how I'll need to pay $230 for their acting classes. Am I being paranoid? LOL. So the short answer to that is yes, she is being scammed.
And no, she is not being paranoid.
And no, she is not being paranoid. Right. That was the question. Man, Todd, see, I didn't listen. I didn't listen to my own voice.
Seth.
Did you see that? Listeners?
Seth, you need to go back to the last episode. I'll take this. I'll take this whole episode. Go back to the listening episode and listen.
I'm going to go into my kitchen and listen to our listening episode while Todd is here by himself telling you all all of the tidbits that apparently I am too inept to handle.
See, I'm back. Go ahead, start.
So yeah, the short answer is yes, she absolutely is not being paranoid. No, the short answer is no, she's not being paranoid, and that she
Yes,
is
she's
being
being
scammed.
scammed.
Yeah. So what an agent does at the very basic heart of an agent's job, right? They get you the audition, they negotiate the contract for you after you book it, and then they take an agreed upon cut. Now, if you are SAG, that cut is 10%. If you're non-union, things get a little muddier. The percentage, I understand, is higher if you are non-union.
If you're
Nevertheless,
there's a lot of non-commercial work going. I mean, mostly non-union commercial work, and with the pandemic, we don't know what's going to
yeah,
come out of it. But generally speaking, because I am still non-union, I'm registered with SAG, but I have not yet joined, so I can still audition for non-union um, gigs, and that's what most of the commercial gigs are. And usually it's a day fee, a buyout rate, and 20% to the agent that comes from the client. So 20% of whatever. So if it's $500 day rate, $700 buyout, $2,000 buyout, whatever that total is, it's 20%. But that's paid by the company to the agency,
so
which is a lot less than 10% if of that commercial like flow every time it plays, her agent would get 10% because that would
right.
be
But are you even
screen
gonna?
after
You're not
screen.
even gonna get residuals from a non-union job. But
That's my point, is
yeah,
that 10% makes them a hell of a lot more money on a union job.
that's true. Still, you're getting less, but that's a topic for
Because,
another time.
well, but another
So
interesting thing about how an agent works, so that if you book, let's just talk big time because it's easier to think in your head. If you book a TV show, TV series, and then switch agencies, your original agent that you booked that
oh
TV
yeah,
show
yeah.
will get that 10% through the perpetuity of the show, unless the
Right.
contract was renegotiated. But I don't think that's possible.
And
So,
then, yeah, but that's yeah, absolutely. And then we'll go deep into that topic another time. For right now,
but that's how they make their money. That's what's
yeah,
important for you as somebody starting out, to know how your agent makes your money.
yeah,
They
absolutely. I
don't make,
mean,
if they're asking you to pay for an acting class.
or literally anything else. Like they shouldn't be requiring you to pay to have your profile online. Um, they shouldn't, because if they're on the websites, like if they're on Actors Access, you can pay for your own private account, but they're going to have their own breakdown services side of it, and so they shouldn't be asking you to pay for any of that stuff. They shouldn't require you to get new headshots. They shouldn't require you to take classes from a particular agent. From a particular acting teacher. Now, if you're young and green, they may well look at your resume and your performance, and they may say, you know what, if you sign with us, we want to see that you're in class. Now, and they may give you a list of classes that they believe are great, and that they highly recommend. But they can't require you to take a class at a particular place as a condition of you signing with them. That is the sign of the scam, right? And so if they do give you this list of classes or headshot photographers that they recommend, you should then do your due diligence on all of those as well, on all of the teachers, on all of the classes, because I think you will find pretty quickly by asking, by doing your internet research, which she had done some internet research, and she had found that some other people were saying that it was a scam. And so that should have been a big enough red flag at the beginning. But you will find pretty quickly, by talking to other people, that things are a scam. And then, just go with your own gut instinct. Like if your heart is telling you, or if your heart is probably telling you, so this is the other thing, your heart is probably telling you, I'm going to be a star. This could be my, my first foot in the door. I want to be a star, and this is going to be my way to do that. And so you get these warm fuzzies, right? And you get all excited. But the reality of it is, you have to keep your head on straight. You gotta remember that this agent part of it is the real hardcore business part of it. So you got to try to take all of those warm and fuzzies out of the equation and look at it with clear eyes. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to do all of this research up front. As soon as you hear the name of an agency, you should do the research. One of the great places to look is on IMDb Pro. That will have a list of all of the agencies, and it will give you them in the descending order of their, what do they call it? The business rating? Like
Yeah.
the thing on there. So that'll give you a good idea. You can look and you can see like who else is represented by this particular agency. And then you can see all of their credits. And actually probably more important than that is to look on the SAG-AFTRA website and see if they are a SAG franchised agency. Because even if you are non-union, you may still be able to sign with a SAG franchised agent. You don't necessarily have to be a member of SAG-AFTRA in order to sign with a franchised agency.
Well, some agents will only sign union actors,
Right.
and most in this day and age, more and more agents are taking non-union actors because of the commercial work, especially commercial agents are taking a hell of a lot more non-union actors.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if there are any agents that only represent non-union actors. So, I mean, then they wouldn't be registered with SAG. So,
Yeah.
but my agent, for example, didn't ever take non-union actors, but they have now.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's common because
Yeah.
people, commercials the figure I heard was 75% of the commercials are non-union now. So that's why any agency with a commercial, oh yeah, we should talk about that.
That's brutal.
We're talking about neophytes. So there are two types of agents in LA. They're called theatrical, which, so when I got here, Seth, in my acting class, I said, I didn't have an agent. And so there was going to be an agent night. That was, a big deal to me. And I said, because you don't have any representation, theatrical or commercial. And I said, why would you need a theatrical agent in LA?
I'm going to be on camera.
I said, I want to be on camera. He goes, oh, right. He goes, you studied in New York. In New York, they're called legit agents, which makes more sense to me because theatrical just means theater to me.
Right. Yeah.
Here in Hollywood, theatrical means film and television.
Yep.
And commercial means commercial. Yeah. Some agencies, some people are signed with two different agents. That's another huge topic. I guess we could probably do 6 parts to this, but yeah, just so you know that some agents, I'm across the board. I'm commercial and theatrical with an agency here.
Yeah. So, and if you, the thing that I keep forgetting is if you're a SAG-AFTRA actor, you have to sign. You're required by the conditions of being in the union. You have to sign with a SAG franchised agent. So that sort of makes it easier, right? You see, okay, this agency is registered with SAG-AFTRA. I am SAG-AFTRA. Therefore, this agency is legit. They're not going to scam me. They're not going to take a cut from a particular class that they're recommending. But if you are non-union, the waters become a little muddier, right? So you really have to do your due diligence to make sure that this agency is legitimate. I mean, and one of the things that I completely forgot to mention that I should have mentioned up front is that any legitimate agency is going to be registered with the state. They're going to have a business license with the state, right? And that you can absolutely look up as well. You can ask them for their business license number. You can look it up, I think, on the internet to make sure that their license is valid. Yeah, and just again, keep a level head with this stuff. I could tell by this post, Kylie's post here in the Facebook group, that she had kind of sunk her heart into it a little bit already. She's like, I already had this second thing and they sound legit. Yes, I've seen some red flags, but they sound legit. You know what I mean?
It sounds like to me she's decided it's not legit.
But
she started by she said yes too many times, and then the red flag popped up about this acting class that she's nervous about.
Yeah.
And she didn't give us enough information. So here's something important to contrast what you said, not contradict at all.
Don't ever contradict me, Todd.
I will not. But to contrast, here's where they're scamming her a little bit. here's some advice that I have heard from about 20 different agents. I'm not kidding you. They want you to be in class.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They want, that is a sign of, they don't, that is the best thing you can do, is to be in a class. Because when you go into that audition, it's just like working out. They want you to book it. Every time you walk in, their objective is you're going to book it. Yeah, there's 100 people, and yeah, there's a million reasons why it might not go that way. But so they are going to want you to be in a class, but therefore you should be in a class when you're interviewing with them, is my number one red flag.
Yeah.
They should be like, oh, wow, you're studying at so-and-so. That's fantastic. We love that. That's my first red flag. 2, almost every agent, I've never heard of an agent that has signed people. That's not true, but mostly they're going to want you to take new headshots. Your headshots should be taken every few years. And when you sign with an agency, you should be having a meeting with them, and you should have a good feeling with them. They should have a good feeling with you, and you should start discussing, you know, I think your picture, you're getting older. So let's push this. And I think you should wear, this is actually this is my dad's shirt that I'm wearing right now. It's I mean, there's different looks that they want from you, and your looks might change.
And right now you look like you've got 2 kids that are about 10 and 14, and you're driving a minivan, bro.
Really? That's what I'm reading? Well, that's what,
but I can't hold on, Todd. I can't stress this enough, but your hair is fantastic.
It's getting so big again. My acting teacher said during class, and this is interesting too, so this is totally on topic. Speaking about getting old, I'll just admit it. So he's a new acting teacher. I've just moved to LA. We're doing scene work after scene work, and then he's getting comfortable with me, mind you. And I love when people get all sassy with me.
Really? I hadn't noticed that about you, that you like sassiness.
Well, it's from having a theater background and just saying, what are you doing? I don't like what you're doing in this scene. Change it. Great. That's a note I can work with, because I come from a generation where you don't have to apologize to people. Right. So I would do the scene, and I can't use my visuals because this hopefully is on the radio. I would do my
podcast.
He'd be like, all right, do this, do this, do this. And I'd take my glasses off, and I've got my script in hand. And then he lost it when he goes, why do you keep taking your damn glasses off? I said, I actually need to get bifocals at this point. I can't read a script or progressives, whatever, without my glasses. He said, you will book 10 times more work with glasses. You should get bifocals. So I left class, and I made an appointment with my eye doctor, and I got bifocals. I did what I was told by a professional. Then I had my meeting with my new agent, and I needed pictures. I knew I needed them, so it was great. We discussed what to do, and I said glasses or no glasses, and all 3 people in the meeting said glasses.
There you go. So you got some good advice. The advice you got was substantiated over and over again. So, to go back what you were saying about being in class, like what I took away from that is that it should be a red flag to you that an agent is interested in you if you're not already in class, right? I mean, to a certain degree, like you should pretty much, unless you're a star, right? Unless you don't need class, right? Because you've already made it. But how many people can really say that? That's a very small percentage. So the vast majority of actors, we need to be in class. It's just the way of the world. So yeah, I mean, the fact that they were interested in Kylie was a red flag, that they were looking for someone who they could take an extra cut from, by recommending them to this class. It's very interesting. I didn't think about it in that way.
Also, they're not going to sign anybody the reason you're being signed, first off, they cannot take you because they already have your type. If they've got, I'm just saying, if they have a lot of older men with red hair, if they've got 6 guys with red hair, they're not going to take me because they're not going to need me, right?
And if they do, again, you're like, wait, what? Why are they taking me? It might,
exactly.
You probably wouldn't want to be repped by them.
They're only taking people that they think can book stuff. So for them saying you need to be in our specific classes, that's sort of, it's nothing but a red flag. Secondly, let's be brutally honest here. They're not going to research that you're in class or not, I now have a studio that I'm affiliated with, and I'm technically haven't been in class for quite a while, but I have access to coaching. I have a relationship with the class. They're not sending a spy to see that I'm in class weekly.
Right. But that said, what I do think still happens sometimes, like this might not be so much with agents, but it might be like if you're young and beautiful, but you don't have a lot of training, and you need to, really sharpen your chops. I think it is a thing. I think, they'll be like, okay, well, you need to get into class. And then once you're in class, like if they know the teacher, I've heard like that agents will actually, see like how they're progressing. I don't know how much that happens anymore, maybe, but I think it used to
I
be a
think it
thing.
happens.
It still happens, yeah. Like where because they
Look,
see potential, right? And they don't want to keep you. There's, if you're young and beautiful, they have a vested interest in signing you. There, you have a lot of potential as someone who's like 20 years old and extremely attractive. So, they're going to want you to sharpen those chops, but at the same time, they're going to want to know that they're not wasting their time, so that they can.
Look, when Hollywood needs something and somebody, they're going to find it, even if zero agencies have that. In our studio, I don't want to say too much. I don't know the people, but I do know that they needed somebody for Glow, which is about wrestlers. So they need great, big, huge, muscly people. I've never seen a bodybuilder character except in that Amy Schumer movie. Her boyfriend was a bodybuilder.
Yeah, John Cena. He's
Was that John Cena in that movie?
I'm 99% sure, yeah, that it was John Cena.
There you go. But my point is that they don't have a lot of those. So
don't you know your big muscly men, Todd? Come on.
I don't know my big muscly men.
Well, apparently. that's you failed me.
I failed myself. My point is that they'll call these people that aren't actors because they need a type, man, and they can direct around them. And man, they're not going to book it unless they go to a coach or an acting class. And at that point, they're going to have to go straight to a coach because they don't have time. They just got to work on this audition. Yeah. And they show up, and the teacher goes, well, we did as best as we could. This person's not only taken one acting class in his life in high school, and then they book the part because they're looking for something. They're literally only auditioning 2 or 3 people.
And then that person, and this happens a lot even with established professionals, that person is going to probably need someone on set, to coach them probably every day. And that's totally fine. I actually would be totally fine with that myself. Like if I was booked a lead and, was getting paid nicely, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I'll have a coach helping me every day for every scene. Why not? That's like a nice little crutch. You know what I mean? To have someone there.
I think your agent expects you. I mean, if I were to get called in for a series regular, my agent would assume I'm going to call one of my acting teachers and coach it. And you bet I'm going to call one of my acting teachers to coach it.
Oh yeah.
And pay for that, because I've never been called in for, just so you know, everyone, I've never been called in for a series regular, anything even close to it.
Yet.
But that's what I mean, is that I'm not going to waste that opportunity. And even if you're starting out, you got to have your friends, your actor friends, or your friends that are good actors help you with your self-tapes and your auditions. You can't just walk in cold.
No, I mean, my acting teacher has said repeatedly, nowadays, everything that you audition for, pretty much, I mean, I'm not talking about student films or unpaid work. I'm saying that anything that's at like the level of a network, anything, even if it's just even if it's an under 5 or a guest star, you have to coach for everything, is her philosophy. You really do, especially because the time is so short. For an under 5, for an under 5, you're only going to get one day to prep for it. And sometimes you could even get called in that day. That happens too. So everything is last minute. So as soon as you get that,
nothing more, you're not going to get 24 hours.
No. And so as soon as you get that script, reach out to your, have an acting, an audition coach that you can reach out to. I keep hitting my table, and that knocking on the table, I know
it's not
reads,
that bad, but I can hear it.
Comes through the microphone. Call that person.
Hey, we got all excited by this topic. We're doing got to wrap this up, Seth.
All right, Todd, you calling me?
No, we've got time to wrap it up, but I want to, because I know we do ramble, but I think we've given good advice. How can we wrap up? Did we say everything we needed to say for this?
I think we said everything we needed to say. Just, again, I think the biggest thing, and I need to take my own advice always, like just do as much research as you possibly can up front before you even go in for an agent or an agency or any of that stuff. Do all of your research up front so that you can go in knowing 100% that this is not a scam situation, so that you can go through the process with an open mind and open heart, everything, and just relax and show your best self, and then represent and advocate for yourself as strongly as possible so that you're not worrying about whether it's a scam.
Per our last episode about listening, also do your research when you're sitting in the room. You are interviewing them just as much as they are interviewing you.
Or more so, yeah.
If not more so, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, if you're not, it sounds like she doesn't have a good feeling. So you can simply say, I'm going to go, and also never burn a bridge. Just simply say, oh my God, I really enjoyed it. Even if you didn't, that was a great interview. Really liked what you said, but I've decided to go another way.
Yep.
That's all you need to say.
Yeah. Because it's like any other job interview. If you're interviewing for a job in the real world, that's how you would handle that as well. If they offer you a position you didn't want to take, you just politely decline. And it's just, I think in the real world, it's a little bit easier to be businesslike. And as actors, we tend to get our hearts and our hopes and our dreams wrapped up in this decision about whether to say yes to an agent. And, the less you can do that, but still, you want to keep that for the work, but you want to take that out of the business part of it, which is what this is.
And when you're young, I mean, yes, I know people that have signed up. I've done it. You sign up for agents and you use their in-house photographer because you don't know a photographer. It's not necessarily wrong, but just know that.
Yeah, if you can avoid it.
In my early days, I got an agent. They said I needed new pictures, and I used their photographers, and they were there. The good news is I had somebody coaching me. They liked them. I don't know if they were good pictures. I understand, but that's the choice you're making. And that's an agency you're probably not going to be with long-term if you have any success. And
I recommend against it. Like find your own photographer. You know what I think? Here's just one last point to wrap this up. And I meant to mention this earlier. Great. If they tell you that you need new headshots, I think you're fully within your right to say, well, I have these right now. And as soon as I book something, then we can talk about changing my headshots, or see if they start getting you auditions maybe before you decide that you're gonna spend money and get new headshots. Because if they're not getting you auditions, then what's the point anyway, right?
Here's my advice too that most people have given recently with modern technology. Unless you've got thousands and thousands of dollars in bank, your headshots at the beginning of your career should not be that expensive. Even a good agent will say that. Don't spend a lot of money on headshots.
$100 to $200 max, I think, for your first set of headshots is fine. I've gotten great headshots for even less than that. So
yeah, and you can check with people that again, here's where your hustle comes in. Check with people that are trying to be headshot photographers.
Yep.
That will do it for a discount
free.
or say, free. Hey, I'll give you $200 up front. And they'll be like, wow, no, that's too much. I'll say, no, if my agent doesn't like them or wants a different shot, can I get another shot? And they'll say, heck yes. So you bring them in and your agent goes, love this, love this, love this. But what we need is a glamour shot or a blah, blah shot.
That's a really great recommendation.
You be smart. These are things because the common standard is to get your pictures taken every 2 years.
I'm going to use that last thing that you just said to promote this episode in our little post and stuff. Cause that was gold right there.
Oh, wow.
That was maybe the best thing to come out of this episode. Honestly, that was
what, episode number 16 and Todd finally said something good?
I took long enough, Todd is spitting fire as red as his fucking hair. Pardon my French.
Fucking A. What the fuck do we know, though?
What the fuck do we know? What a weird episode. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Now I have to think about new headshots because that's probably what's going to happen when we come out of this.
Yeah.
It's time. It's been two years. So
Yeah, but you haven't. We'll talk about it. We're totally rambling.
oh,
All right.
I'll email those to you.
All
And
right.
I'll email those to you on theoutsidersbiz, B-I-Z, @gmail.com.
That was brilliant. Again, Todd. Wrapping it up. Jeez. Jeez, you're
Bye,
killing
Zach.
it. Goodbye.
Gotta get out of here.